they stupid or something? I've never even been to India.
Damn it. I think
I will get to the bottom of this intrigue. What's been done to me? To this city?
I think it's pretty obvious. Now, why they didn't just drain you and they turned you into a vampire instead? I don't know. So many things about the Royal Fleet. I keep seeing like shiny things, but it's just the rain.
The body is still warm. This man has just been drained of blood. This corpse has been dried of its blood, just like the previous victim. Blood and empty gin bottles. This bishop fellow is something of a heavy drinker. What's this? Some sort of note.
Let's see. A nasty leech. Destroy the leech, brothers.
These men, they're a company of professional vampire hunters.
Sorry. Jesus.
This man was armed. He tried to defend himself.
He failed.
There are blood splats on the other side of the canal. I must reach that barge.
Blood splats? Splats? I mean, I'm no expert. I just don't feel like that's correct, but I mean, this is also what, 1918 or some shit. I thought I saw something come up. Crazy. My phone's going off though. Eh, nothing I care about. It's one of my video games. Okay. So I need to get over there, is that it? I can just... whoop! There's a dude way over there. Can I crouch? Ah! I'm guessing I can't crouch? Oh shit. I moved real fast. I zoomed. Oh, that's hiding that. I was like, can I hide? Oh shit. There's like not a fucking hide button. I feel like that'd be really useful.
over there!
Somebody else yelled, but I think I was just crazy. Unless that guy yelled over there while he was being attacked. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Triangles, ranged weapons.
Ammunition crate. Good. I may need a lot of bullets. I feel like I'm back on the front line again.
do they hide where it's so damn cold? This is not a place for you, sir.
Sorry. I didn't even know you were up here. Like, I need to go that way, but there were 2 dudes over there. Now it looks like there's only one. You know. So is it okay that I kill these guys, or is it not okay? Whoopsie daisy. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Ooh. Ooh! Okay. Request, citizen menu, investigations, character. I didn't pay attention when it was like, hey, you can use shit. I can equip more in my main hand? Oh, I have no idea. What does that say? Unequip your offensive weapon. Okay, I'm trying to... Oh! Shit. Okay, whoops. I thought I was gonna be able to aim.
Best be on your way home. Over there! There's one of them vermin!
Get riggedy wrecked while I learn to be a vampire. Jesus, okay. There's 2 guys down there.
Crush the leech, boys!
Come on. No balls. Oh, I can't get down now. Now I'm stuck up here.
Steady, boys! We've got one of them!
Come on. Come on up. I don't think I'm going anywhere without killing them, so...
Leech spotted!
L3. Ow! Okay, so he has a high resistance to range and a medium resistance to melee, I guess.
Murdering bastard!
Good shit. Okay. So here's a giant blood splat.
We won't see any of these bastards back here again.
There's one splatter, but where's the next? Is that one?
That's this nest of them cleaned out.
I like their screams when you burn them alive.
Okay. Rats are found in your hideouts, apparently. No, not that. The money. I just took his shit. He don't need it 'cause he dead. Sorry. Look at me. I look so fucked up. Alright, so I have 755 XP apparently. I haven't used this at all. I have used claws. I need level 8 defensive. I need some defense. Let's absorb. Tactical. Supernatural move to your target and cause damage upon landing. Shadow Veil. Oh, I'm invisible. Okay. Ultimate. I don't think I can use any of these then. Shadow Vortex. Blood Cauldron. Oh, that's horrifying. That's super horrifying. Body condition. I like the blood. Hard biting, fast regeneration. Okay. Yeah, give me that sweet, sweet life. More heal. Oh shit. The following night. Oh yeah, because I slept. Because I was way sleepy. All right.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Delicious blood. Oh, is that the guy? Oh god, this place looks weird.
Oh dear God, not again. William, please stop.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
William, my arm. I can't feel it.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
god. Wrong buttons. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god, I didn't do that shit. L1. Oh god, I'm using the wrong thing. So his blood doesn't matter because he's a vampire. Oh, I'm so fucking stupid. That sucked. You okay, dude?
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Oh my god.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
I mean, you did. He's right. I mean, she's right. Whoever you are, I don't care. Let's help this man.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders.
Okay. Did I?
Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful
You're
place.
such a freak, dude.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well.
You didn't even notice me.
The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
I got the bad boo-boos. Oh god. Needle.
It's locked. This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some...
Hello. I haven't played it before, so... I thought it said... Oh, there's the blood sample. I can't really see the emoji from here. I have the chat up on my TV. His blood? I have a clue.
subspecies of vampire. I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Oh, cool, thanks. I do appreciate it. Dude, listen to this. Listen, he's hurt, so he's just... He's like fucking moaning. But like he looks totally fine. He looks normal. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow and not spoiling it. Because I watched Cryotic play up to like here, but I think that was it. I really don't remember anything else. Oh, I can move.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the
Somewhere to
Pembroke
get me some
Hospital.
new
It's
clothes,
just across the
hopefully.
canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say?
He's a vampire.
The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted.
Excuse me.
And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy.
Yeah, why y'all trying to be like... Oh, I don't
London
know
as
that
peaceful
woman.
as she appears from the middle of the canal. If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician,
Means.
like yourself. Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr.
Okay.
Reed. Marvelous.
He was like chilling there with his finger up.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the
I had
utmost
seminars?
admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
Don't tell anybody, it's my secret.
Word, again, from a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
And for that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your
You're just gonna hire
predicament.
me right now? Okay.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
Yeah, now you killed
Dr.
your sister,
Reed,
so visiting your mom would be a little
Take
bit
a
awkward.
moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes.
Okay, good, thank you.
So, what do you say?
I've been bitching about that. I mean,
It seems I
I'll
have
take
little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I
You're
thank
not
you.
gonna get a
Brilliant!
better offer.
Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Oh, yeah? Alright, look.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night.
guy's, like,
We
dying.
lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served
Oh,
King
look at my
Country.
sweet
He'll be
jacket.
joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, get that guy somewhere.
Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. I'm coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Sorry. I want to see my sweet clothes. Look at me. Dapper. I mean, I still look like the dead, but... Dapper. Okay, I gotta analyze the blood. It's a healthy district.
Oh, you bastard! You can do better than that.
What the fuck?
Nah, it's my turn.
I kinda don't want to go over here. I'm really hurt. Oh, oh.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
I'm very concerned. Yo, what up?
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Oh, you're a dick.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Okay. Oh.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
That's XP.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Alright. Can you help this guy? He was like dying a second ago. Is he just gonna lay down? Bro, there's a hospital literally right behind us.
What happened? Did I black out?
I guess I'm just leaving him there. Okay, whatever.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Ooh.
It's locked, all right.
Well, dang. Alright, I guess I better get to the hospital, which is over here. I think that's where they were headed. Ew. That is a gross armchair. Yo, what up, everybody?
I don't have all night.
Are you talking to me?
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of KillaKnzx3. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you.
My name on the door.
Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Thanks.
I would like to ask a few questions first.
Okay, let's see.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
What are you doing? Take medicine?
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Oh, yeah.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
He seems nice enough.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
She literally just did, but...
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Not, that's not what I meant. I don't like things being highlighted.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Thank you. You're really bloody. Hospital full, please go back home. Oh, that's kind of sad. Hey, I'm gonna take some shit. Who are you?
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see.
He really likes
Well,
me.
I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Oh, I can mesmerize.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
I'm sure.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Spray cop.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippins. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Oh, you're just worried about his health. You don't wanna smash.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
That's it, his best. Excuse me. Oh, is that it? Hit required.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous
Dr.
Dr.
Tippett,
Reed has
okay.
joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Wish I could skip some of the
Some are
talking.
really good, and others are
I can read
not so
faster
good.
than I
But
listen
during
to
this
them.
troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Of course you do.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Oh yeah. That sucks.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Everybody's dying.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more, unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
I'm sorry.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more, unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is
No, I
worried
can't
about
fix
you,
it.
Doctor.
Okay, so when I pick, it's done.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Okay. Is it that one? Look at him, he's like wobbling around.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
At least that mystery. Oh, stop following me.
You Brannigan.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Ooh. I like you.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
I only have 39 shillings so far. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, my boy. He's pretty cool.
Perhaps I should have considered the old that cabin. It's safer here than anywhere else in the East.
Oh, they're like inside.
And I thought last time.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for,
How
mortal?
dare you?
My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Oh, yeah? Shit.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades.
Creepy.
I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul. Or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Okay. Wrong target.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Okay.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
She's a freak. But that's okay, whatever. Nurses. Do not cough in public. Ah, shit. I mean, at least cover your mouth. That's what I do. Who are you? Who are you? Oh, you're Thelma. No, you're not. You're somebody I don't know. You, come here. I don't know you.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet.
You don't have any
My name is
eyebrows.
Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual. Especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Every street corner, daily routine.
Sorry, I'm snacking while I'm playing. I don't know you either.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed.
You kinda cute.
Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Looks like the other guy
Thank
with
you.
that mustache.
And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Yeah? You like my work?
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Flattery is useless.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Missing ingredients.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Okay. I guess that's all I got.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Dr. Crane was the one I just talked to a moment ago. But I didn't get to, like, interrogate her. Some lady, some guy.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
I guess I will.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
Nice.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Huh.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
What's wrong with
I'm
your
Dr.
Mortimer?
Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
I can do a medical checkup. I just keep seeing mesmerize up there. I never even looked to see if I could do a medical checkup.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with you?
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
Do I have medicine? I don't,
I will see you later. I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
I need to make you some shit. Dorothy Cranes, I need to talk to her. Because I didn't actually talk to her.
I'm alright.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
No, okay, she just says the same shit.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Thank you.
Good evening,
Here's
sir.
Fiddick.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right. Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Oh god, I just knocked this chair over.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
So, like, what's wrong with your arm?
Reads me
Oh,
like a
I
book.
didn't learn very much about that.
I never could keep anything
God,
from
I'm
her.
trying to put this chair up into his... There, Jesus Christ. It just kept falling over.
This hospital's...
Oh, it's me. I was like, what the fuck? Hospital full. This is outside. I got the big rooms. There's some guy. Dr. Strickland.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Yes, we will investigate. Momentarily. Well, I came right back here.
Oh, sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Okay, I don't know you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansey's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are used to gaining people's trust with your impressive skills. Well, it will not be the case with me.
Okay.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansey has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
You think I'm gonna be a burden? That's rude.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansey, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Well, what's wrong with him?
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
So he's kind of a dick, but not like a huge dick, really.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Yeah,
Thank you for your
dick,
time.
but whatever.
We'll talk later.
He has fatigue. Here's where I came in.
Thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul. They belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh need...
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
That sucks, my dude.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why
I
not?
love the exclamation
She's
point,
only
question mark.
supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
I thought we got another hint. I guess I didn't.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Maybe I got one for her.
I have wasted too much energy for so little.
Wait, who are you?
Damn.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
No, that's Pippa. Why did it say... Why did it say, unknown?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Oh, it's outside. Hampton.
I have wasted too much energy.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, Sora, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice
Right,
and
you were
polite.
nice.
A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr.
There's
Reed.
a lot of people.
William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
There's a lot to talk to them
Do you
about.
know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped
he was
out the
kind of
East
rude
End
to me a
long
little
ago.
bit by not telling me the truth, but...
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
I was gonna say, yeah, people are gonna despair. There's
Who should I
Spanish
avoid in this
flu.
part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really.
Sorry.
Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Apparently nobody gossips here. Give me some of that good shit.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers' trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
The Wet Boot Boys.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs
Hey,
the
I
show,
just saw Clay
with the
Cox
assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Or like 20 minutes ago, whatever.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Guess it's a nice thing.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
It's a crucifix, right?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel... empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest.
But if you just unrest,
Then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
I guess.
Fear and disgust on every street.
There's a person out here.
And I thought last summer's epidemic was different.
Or some shit.
The pain. It's here again.
I cannot enter.
Alright, well I can't go in there to talk to her. Now I know I got something else on Milton. Where the fuck he is? Where is he? Oh, he's up there.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Goodbye, Milton.
Bye, Milton. I'll see you later, Can this show me where people are? It's not gonna show me. Oops.
It's locked.
Is Mr. Stew shit? Long letter. Oh man, I can't read this. It's so little. Aw, it's Pippa's letter. Well, to Pippa. Thought it was shiny. Bottles. Cool. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to, like, use it to heal, but I... Oh, there we go, healing a little bit. There we go. And now I'm out of blood. Okay. So I talked to Pippa. Pippa. I stole your stuff.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Excuse me. Jesus, okay, so... Let me see if I can figure out how to use this. There's my inventory. Collectibles. There's me! Look at me, my weird face. Chapter 1, okay, I guess I'll... Oops. Citizen menu. You need some shit. Mortimer needs a Dyson Delaney. Who are you? I don't... Oh, you're the weird guy. Okay. Local investigations. Research the pharmacy and the backyard garden. Find out who is spying. The game is good. It's kind of... Right now I've spent the entire, I've spent 40 minutes, I feel like, just talking to people, because there's so much for them to tell me. But I mean, I look pretty fucking sweet. Okay, I'm not going to my office, I'm gonna go to this pharmacy, whatever it is. Can I leave this way?
The pain.
I just started it today, and I'm 2.5 hours in.
The Pembroke is so
I
lucky
like
to have Dr. Reed.
Games with a lot of story, but I do get kind of... It gets kind of tedious when you're listening to just somebody talk. So now I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna do some shit first. Oh god, this pharmacy's really, really far away. I'm probably gonna get attacked. I need to go there. District status healthy. Dead people.
He's mine! I'll take it!
Whoa, 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 I didn't do nothing. Oh god, they're level 11. I'm a wee baby compared to them. Oh, why am I even gonna try to shoot him? Oh, they're gonna kick my ass. Oh no. How do I switch to my stake? How do I switch to my stake? Oh Okay, this place. Yeah. Who's that hideout? I'm gonna try to keep going and see what happens, but dang, ow. And I need to figure out how to switch weapons. Because, I mean, I have it on my offhand, but... I'm confused, because it's like... level 1. It doesn't tell me how to switch. Oh well, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Oh, so shiny. Oh, it's not there. There's so many signs. This place is under quarantine. They seem bad. They seem like they're gonna hurt me. Oh. Prywin Executioner? Okay. I don't really want to go that direction. Because it sounds like a bad time. Oops. Get up that way somehow though, so I might have to bash my way through them at some point. Oh, he bad too. He's on 15. Okay. I think we're gonna avoid this area for now. Because I'm a wee baby. Wrong button. So let's see. Maybe we'll do this one. That seems better.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Some, like, blood. We're back at the hospital. What kind of hospital is this? Did I come here before? I don't think I did. Ooh. But I keep hitting R2 instead of R1. You've been defeated. I don't want the blood of the citizens. I want to be a good guy. For a vampire. Good guy vampire. Okay, the music stopped for a second. I was afraid it froze. I was gonna cry? Not really, but I don't know how to save or anything, so it says it auto-saves. I haven't been paying attention, though. Everyone ignore the fact that I just got my fucking ass kicked. Okay, okay. I do get stuff. Ow. Do you have any stuff for me to get? No? Oh, there's more of them. I really don't want to fight two at once. I really don't want to. But, oh my god. He is not cool. Jesus. Okay. Found a lead plate. I'm looking for a wallet though. Apparently I can check these. Neat. Guess I gotta keep my eyes peeled here. They were eating somebody. Oh, is it the wallet? Aww.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are...
Okay, this comes
an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Yeah, they have. Okay, so this wall is broken.
It's locked.
Okay, well, we're gonna go back to the hopsicle. Milton, I found your wallet. Oh, Jesus, sorry, I tried to cover the mic. Ooh. This cold's been kicking my ass for like 2 weeks. Oh shit, there's somebody here. I didn't fucking see your ass. Give me that sweet health. Do you have anything? No, they don't have. Are y'all aware that right outside the hospital there's a bunch of vampires? I'm sorry, skulls. They're not vampires. Not the same thing, I suppose. I have no idea. Is anybody fucking aware that we're all real close to being mauled to death? buddy.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet. With all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples, just like you, come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's good.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed.
Dr. Reed, don't
Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
I have one hint thingy left.
Goodbye, Milton.
Doctor?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor, too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing,
man, my
and
sister.
she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
How fucking dare you? I'll kill you.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe.
Yeah, look at this
Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious,
It's
sir.
gross in here.
I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Alright, buddy boy. I'm out of here.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
This place is nasty.
It's locked, all right.
Oh, it's gonna try to steal his shit. No, Mr. Steal his shit.
It's locked, all right.
That is locked. Oh, I'm in. What? What?
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Oh, that's really sweet. I wanted to talk to Hawkins.
My sweet girl.
What is happening?
Like a book.
What the
I cannot enter.
I will not let you down, my boy. My sweet girl. Like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
It's locked, all right.
Is it?
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
I'm pretty sure some weird shit was just happening a second ago.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest, then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
That was weird shit. like some fucking crap on there. That was weird. That was way weird.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Goodbye, Milton. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
You have eyebrows now. I feel like you didn't have eyebrows.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Oops.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Sorry. Oops, a daisy. Now I need to find. Oops. Who's spying on Thelma? oldest boy, he talks in his sleep. And sometimes he has like weird, I wouldn't call them exactly night terrors, but he has like weird screaming episodes. And then you walk in and he's totally fine. See, they're lit up.
You always needed words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
See, now they're like, nope, nope, everything's okay. So I find that really odd. They're up to something.
I will not let you down, my boy.
There's people up there. Can I not get in? I'm taking people's shit. That sucks. He paid that money and that guy died. These people are spying on her. If they're people, that is.
See them better?
Ow, fuck. Ah! Ah! Will you quit stabbing me with that fire? That sucks ass. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. didn't know I'm a vampire.
You always knew the words to calm the child.
Where's that lady? There she is.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense, now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
At least that Mistress of the Dark stopped following me.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Goodbye, Milton.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow.
This is no time for
Oh, I'm not done with that. I thought it was finished.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Fix me properly. A month? A year? You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will...
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reed.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you, then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
Man. Oh, now you're gonna tell me about the ship?
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Don't stop.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
Man, you're a horrible person.
You put a price on hope. This goes against everything you swore to uphold as a nurse.
Report me then, Dr. Reed. Report the little nurse and keep on lying about the surgical errors, the wrong dosages and diagnostics that we all covered for the sake of our colleagues.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Horrifying sound. Scared. That should be scary. Let's see where this guy's place is.
Another night. Surely
He's rich, so he should have a good place. I get it. Eat your food. It's pretty freaky. I was like reading a sign and there's scary noises. But I was heading towards an area where they were apparently level 18, so I don't wanna go there yet. Analyze some blood because of light regeneration.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night.
Oh, here's his suicide letter. Oh man.
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust.
Damn. But he's really like, he wants to die.
It's locked.
I'm sorry. Ooh. Eek. That is horrifying. Where am I? Okay, I'll go this way. That's another way out. But apparently he needs to sleep. Okay. I've got skills. I've got skills. More damage or more healing? Let's see here. 600 points. I'll do the 300. I use bite quite a bit. And then I've been using this. Oh, I can't do that. Because I used all my points on bite. I mean, that's some good stuff. I'm not leveled up enough. Same. My science. Serum bullets. Blood capacity. 5%, that's not very much. There we go. Okay. Okay, I always do that. I never hit confirm, I'm just like, get me out of here. Okay. I gotta figure out if I'm gonna show his mom the letter or give it to him. Because I feel like if I give it to him, he'll just, you know, he'll destroy it. See, these guys are 10 and 11, I'm level 6. I'm a little bit less of a wee baby than I was before. Ah! What is this blood? You don't see me. Anyway, I was gonna say, like, I feel like if I give him a letter, he's gonna destroy it and just, like, kill himself. Which I think if I give it to his mom, she's just gonna watch over him like a hawk forever.